Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing another video game review, and that will be of Dante's Inferno. Take a look at this video game cover right here. Now, I've been going through a lot of video games lately, and I've been trying to review them as I go, but I've just been blasting through them, so I haven't really been able to review the more recent ones I've been buying. However, 2 days ago I just beat my latest video game and I needed to pick up a new one. So I went to GameStop and I went with my girlfriend. The choices were between BioShock, Dante's Inferno, and Darksiders. Unfortunately, it didn't have BioShock 1 and I didn't feel like driving all the way out to get to the other GameStop that probably did have BioShock. So it came down to Dante's Inferno and Darksiders. So I let my girlfriend make the final pick on which game to get and she picked Dante's Inferno. Now, I played through this game in about 2 days with a total of maybe 6 to 7 hours gameplay. I kind of blasted through this too. And I have to say I'm happy that she picked this. Usually I don't allow fate of video games in the hand of my girlfriend because, well, she doesn't care for video games, so she doesn't know what's good or not. But seeing that I had very little to go on Dante's Inferno and Darksiders, only hearing good recommendations from my friends on both of them, I figured, hey, what the heck, I'm going to play the other game anyways, so I will be picking up Darksiders at some point. But Dante's Inferno. The basic concept of this game is it's loosely based off the divine comedy Dante's Inferno. However, it only shares the name and the setting. It's a completely different reimagining of the original source material. The basic concept in the story of this is that you play a Knight Templar, Dante. You return to your beloved Beatrice, your one and only true love, to find her slayed. You then journey into the 9 layers of hell, figuring out that, well, you're not necessarily a good person because you've indulged into all the sins of the 9 layers of hell. Your whole purpose of going into the 9 layers of hell was to save Beatrice. But there's a grander plan by Lucifer to this. It wasn't necessarily Beatrice that he wanted. It was you. So, will Dante be able to save his Beatrice? Will they be able to be together once more? Will her soul be lost? Will she ever forgive him? And in the end, will he sacrifice himself for the greater good of all mankind? Well, you're going to have to play the game and see. Let's get on to the story, the basic thoughts of the story. I like the story. This is completely different from the Dante's Inferno original source material, and I've only read bits of it, but it's completely different. And I'm happy with that. It's a new take on something. It was an interesting story. It was a compelling story, and it's one that kind of had me hooked from the beginning. I really like the concept. I really like how the story progressed, and I like the ending, which kind of leaves it open for a sequel, although I doubt they're going to do it. Who knows? You never know. But the story was good. I really did like the story. Gameplay. Well, the gameplay is very much that of like God of War. And a lot of games are called like God of War. However, I'm not a fan of God of War because I haven't really played it that much. I don't own a PlayStation, so I don't have the God of War series. I played a little bit over my friend's house, but on a whole, I haven't really been a fan of God of War. Nothing against it, I just haven't had the opportunity to get into it. So this feels like a fresh and new experience for me when it comes down to gameplay. And the gameplay is smooth, it works out well, there's great combos you can pull off. It's a basic hack and slash, and it is like God of War, but it's a good ripoff of God of War. A lot of games are ripoffs of other games. I mean, seriously, a first-person shooter can be a ripoff of Halo, which is then a ripoff of GoldenEye, which is then a ripoff of Quake, which is then a ripoff of Doom. They're all ripoffs of something. So, this is an invited ripoff. I enjoyed the gameplay. I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fast-paced. However, I did have complaints about it. One is there weren't that many opportunities to get into fights with enemies. Enemies were few and far in between. And some of the puzzles were, I don't want to say difficult, but tedious and annoying. It would probably be the best thing to say about those. See, it's hard to say puzzles are hard to me because I played Zelda games and all the other games that have puzzles in it, so I'm kind of used to puzzles. These were just a little tedious. Luckily, they were few and far between, but they were tedious, to say the least. Graphics and design. The graphic designs of this is beautiful. It's a great reimagining. It's a great interpretation. It's a little twisted and it's a little hardcore. And when I mean hardcore, which I'll get into in the end. But I like the art design. I like the concept. I liked how it looked. I liked how it felt. It was a place of despair. Hell is a pretty bad place to go. So it had a great feel when it came down to the art and the graphics. The graphic cutscenes were so beautiful. It was ridiculous. Um, which will bring us, I guess, into the overall. Dante's Inferno is a good game. It is a blatant ripoff of God of War when it comes down to gameplay, but the story is really what saves this game. It has smooth gameplay. The gameplay is good, but it's really the story that makes this game great. It's compelling, it's fun. It's a short game. You'll go through this pretty quickly, especially if you're on the easy mode. But it is a fun story. Let me just tell you, this is not for the faint of heart game. This is for adults too. There is a lot of disturbing, violent, twisted images, a lot of nudity, and it's not nudity for the sake of it being nudity. I mean, the nudity is at least respectable, with the exception of the Cleopatra stuff. That stuff, when you're in the layer of hell, lust, I mean, that stuff is a little overboard. But there's a lot of nudity in this, a lot of violence, a lot of gore, a lot of language. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for adults. This should not be played by kids. On a whole, Dante's Inferno held my interest long enough. I think if the game was any longer, I probably would get bored of it. The story was well done. The gameplay was smooth. It's an okay game. I do recommend picking it up. It's $19 new, so you can get it cheap even if it was used. And it's not the best game out there, but I would definitely give a recommendation for it. So with that said, I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.